Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we're doing a project for the house. This here is a silo or a grain bin top. Covers the hole where they put where the grain pours in for storage when you auger it up. So we're taking that today. And Mrs. Redmond picked this mirror up from Walmart. And we're going to put this mirror in there. But before we put the mirror in there, we'll go out here. We got some barn wood here from a 100-year-old cabin that we tore down here a couple years back. And we're going to take this barn wood and we're going to line the inside of this grain bin top in here with barn wood, and then we'll set the mirror down in it. So that's our plan there. And then we'll probably take some rope, and we're probably going to attach it somewhere, whichever way she decides she wants the top to be, so that it's got more of a rustic feel and you can see, and it'll look just kind of pretty it up a little bit. So that's our plan for today. Just follow us along for this project, and we'll show you how it's done. So the first thing I like to do, especially when I'm working with a circle, is I find me a reference line. Ignore this one, because I wasn't paying attention to the orientation of how I wanted the top to be placed. So my goal is if you look down this point here, it matches up close with this rib here. So I make me a reference line in there. You just take your square, and I just kind of eyeballed it. I mean, it's for me, it ain't got to be perfect. And I just kind of eyeballed it down through there, and I set my speed square in there, and then that gives me a right angle to work off of for placing my boards, and that's my center point. I measured it from, so it was 24 and a half overall, inside to inside. So that puts us at 12 and a quarter, and that's our center point. And then I just go around and I make me a couple extra marks there till I get my center point established. And then that's what I use for my reference. And then I get my right angle in here established. I just set it in here. About like so. And then, if I'm using the wrong line here, hold on. And see, that's where an eraser comes in. But we're all human, we all make mistakes, and we can't erase them, so you just got to deal with it. But if you look, it lines up pretty good with where I want it to be. And then I make that my reference point. Now, we will get us a length, an overall length of the board that we want, and then we will measure the distance from here for the width of that board up or down, either or, and then we will cut the radius, the curve on that board to get it to lay in there, and I'll show you that here. So here's our first piece that we put in. Kind of a test fit. We don't want to waste any of this stuff. So it's one of the things when you're working with barn wood, if it don't fit here, you try to use it for the piece up here, because this is no telling how old lumber. Well, you figure the cabin was 100 years old, so and that was 2 or 3 years ago, whenever we tore the thing down. So that gives you an idea how old this lumber is, and you ain't gonna find stuff like that no more. I mean, this is naturally aged. This is not something that you just produce inside your shop. So you don't want to waste any of it, but it appears to have worked out pretty good with our line, and I think it's in place where I would like it. So we're going to work on our next piece. So just so you all know, when you're working with barnwood, you need to make sure your ends are square. I've already done it on this board, but you need to come out here and check that your ends are square for when you're pulling your tape on it, because when they cut this stuff in the sawmill, I mean, you're just getting whatever. Sometimes you're just getting whatever the guy with the chainsaw did when he was logging and cutting it into logs. So we'll come out here. We're gonna put a 24.5. And we'll leave our line. So that's 24.5. Good rule of thumb, if you don't fill a lot with wood, right there you go, 24.5. Good rule of thumb, if you don't do a lot with wood, is measure twice, cut once. Especially when working with this stuff. Because it's, like I said, it just can't be reproduced. I mean, look at that. That's beautiful timber there. So we got this board in here. We're going to pull it out. Well, I see that. There it goes. We're going to pull it out. Now, we're going to look and see which side we want facing out. Now, I don't like that. Something's been mounted on this, so I don't like that. So this is going to be my side facing out. So we're going to take this board here, and we're going to trace it onto the next one once we get it squared up, and that should be our opposite piece. So we're doing a mirroring while we're working on a mirror. We're reflecting our work to our lower piece. So that way it's more consistent. So now that we've scribed our work, come out here, we'll take our jigsaw, now when I'm working on something that's a circle like that, especially with the way it's tapered, I generally just take my saw and I kind of just turn it on an edge, just to knock the sharp edge off the back side. And it just makes it work. Just by knocking that little bit of edge off there, it helps it fit a lot better. Now we'll do the same to the other side. Flip it over. Try not to edge off there. I'm going to do a review on this border cable set that I got here. Had it for about 5 years and it's held up pretty well. Now see, this is the look we're going for. Doing that. Now, I'm not going to lie, this piece here, I did have to take it back out there and just shave a little bit off each time till I got it to fit. Because we do not want to swell this out any. We want to try and keep it natural form. Piece of wire I'm going to have to take off there. Piece of tie wire. But this is the look we're going for. Now, isn't that going to be beautiful? So, we will continue on with our top and bottom piece now. So our next step is we measure our short side on this board, which becomes our long side for the next board. So I'll get my measurement here, and then we'll figure out what this measurement is up here. So this measurement was 21 3/4 on our short side on this one. Now it will become the long side. So now what I generally do is I figure up the width of my board, where it's going to hit, then I'll find my center mark, and I'll come out here where the full width of the board won't hit, or comes in contact, I guess I should say, with the rim. And then that becomes my radius. So I found my center point. You won't be able to see it because this wood's so dark. And then I measured over and figured out that I came in contact with, so these boards are 6 inches wide, and that's my full 6 inches right there. And then the other one is over here. So then I take this piece and then I set it on here, and then I transcribe this on the back side of this board, and then I will take and transfer it up to here, and that'll make my radius down to there. So then what I do is I take these two boards off out of the grain bin top, find my center, and I put my screw there. Now, we know that we are 24 and a half our full diameter. So, to do our circumference, I put it on 12 1/4 right there. And I take my pencil and I just scribe my line on there just like that. That's how I do that, and that's how I find my radius. You can also take, if you ain't got that, take your chalk line. Make sure the line's dry. What I mean by dry line is pull it out there, get that chalk off of it, then you can put it on here. This is the way I do it. It may not be the proper way to do it, but it's the way I do it. And then I just hold that. Hold on here. It's a lot easier if you just got just a piece of string. Pull this chalk line out. And I just take and I hold tension on it. Just scribe my line. And use chalk line string line, it works. And then put you an eyelet in the end of your string line. Find your mark and just transcribe your line accordingly. So that's how we do that, just to give you an idea. Alright, so that's how that turns out. Now, I know there's probably a better way to do it. This is just the way I do it, guys. I'm not no professional carpenter by any means. Like I said, most of my carpentry work, I mean, I have built a few houses and I have, built shops and stuff like that. But most of my carpentry work comes from doing concrete and things of that nature. So, when it comes to concrete work, it ain't got to look pretty, it's just got to hold. So, that's just kind of my deal with it. But I think it turned out pretty decent. So, we'll make us another piece down here, and it'll be the reflection of that up there. Alright, guys. There it is. I think it turned out pretty decent. So now we have to make sure these are attached to the top of the grain bin, this grain bin lid. And then once we get that attached, we will take and install the mirror. All right. So here it is. It ain't finished yet. I haven't physically attached the mirror to the barnwood yet, but this gives you an idea of what it's going to look like. Now, when I attach the barnwood, let's see if I can get this up. I pre-drilled and installed, I think it was 4 Phillips screws, and that seems to be holding it pretty tight, and I don't think we're going to have any issues. And they're hidden behind the mirror. Now on the back side, I took and I broke the back of the screws off with a hammer. And then when I hang it on the wall, it's going to have adhesive pads on the back side, or like furniture slider pads on the back side stuck to it, so it don't scar up the wall. Now, a lot of people would do it different, I would say, but this was originally like a desert tan, I guess, or something like that. I know women are better with colors. I'm going to say it was a tan. And me and Mrs. Redmond took black, white, and gray spray paint and gave it this distressed look. So it's a mixture of 3 different spray paints. They're just all cheap spray paint. You can get them at Walmart. And that's going to be how she goes. So up here, I'm going to drill a hole here and here, and we have some rope that we're going to put through it, and I'll probably show you how to do that here in just a minute. So to attach it, we got this X-Fasten silicone sealant. It's automotive silicone. And it is really good stuff. I've used it before. I used it on the campers, and stuff. And I'm using it on the camper that we currently got. There's Case. He's out here chilling. So we put this on the back of it. We got reference lines marked on here of where it goes. And we're getting ready to stick it in place. All right, guys. Here's the mostly finished product. The last thing we're going to do is drill a hole here and here, and we're going to put we got some old barge rope that we're going to put through there. It's old boat rope, I don't know what you call it. Anyways, it's that brown twine looking stuff, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, hemp rope. Anyways, it's going to go in here and look kind of fancy and stuff, and so it'll look beautiful. And then yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. I like it. Like it a lot. So we'll go ahead and start drilling the holes. We press this mirror into place so that the adhesive is pretty evenly dispersed. We don't want to put a lot of pressure on it because obviously it cracked the mirror. We're going to let this set and dry overnight, and then we'll come out here and do a test on it tomorrow to make sure that the mirror is actually in place, because we do not want to take it in the house and it fall out of, I guess, what we will call the new frame. So don't forget to like and subscribe so you can see more of our crafts and stuff that we make, and just our DIY videos. Alright guys, so we're going to call this project a wrap. I was going to go ahead and drill the holes in it and stuff, but I have to go into our other building to get the rope, and I don't feel like messing with that. It's currently dark out. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to upload this video, and remember, like and subscribe, and I will post a short afterwards showing it in the house and showing the rope put in and so on. So I appreciate y'all watching. God bless y'all. It's been a good Sunday project for me. And oh, well, I'll tell you more about that here in a short. So y'all have a good evening, and remember, like and subscribe.